I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most, Normal Ass Carl. To my front, I have my man Carl at Just Lex. And together we form Voltron.
And this Lex.
So what's good, man? What's new?
I was trying to find back in like '98, my man James. There was a freestyle over this beat too.
Which beat?
The Changes beat, and it was some Filipino dude. It was got rice, bitch. Got rice.
Wait, that was
I was trying to find it. Of course, it's not on Apple Music.
I feel like everybody does have rice.
That shit was hard though.
Was it?
In '98, it was.
Oh, okay, there we go. You got to put some clarification on that. Rice? Listen, so this episode, I'm gonna drop 35 tonight. Right? It's one of them. It's one of them episodes where I feel like, yo, we really about to get in the bag. You know, sometimes I got to go off and live life a little bit to be able to come up with content. And it just flowed out of me, pause, on Friday. The 3-day weekend is messing me up too. So, but like, it was just flowing out of me Friday night. I woke up today thinking I had to go to work. Like, I'm used to only like having 2 days off, but I just hit a roll and I just started asking a bunch of questions. Then I, had a bunch of ideas. So I was like, yo, like, why not put random shit to fill in time, right? Like on our Instagram page and have y'all vote. And we could discuss if we agree with y'all. We get some fan listener engagement and shit like that. Shout out to the YouTube listeners that's holding us down that can't make it through the audio process. They got to see us, in live and direct. But I ain't got really nothing new crazy going right now. I'm in this little space in my life where I'm just trying to enjoy things because I know that come February, going all the way up until the summertime is going to be nasty. We got a 7-day trip, next year. We got baseball and stuff like that. My daughter's probably gonna end up playing t-ball. And I was thinking about this. Not enough time. Have you ever thought about like, yo, if like both your kids decided that they was gonna do something, how you was gonna divvy your time up and still have time for your personal life?
I mean,
like at our daycare, we got a family of like 4. And then they got a 5th one on the way. And I'm like, bro, like you're never gonna like have a break. Like they look like zombies every time they come in. I get it, you know what I mean? But it's rough on that behalf.
Yeah, I mean, shit, it's hard enough trying to get one of them to do something with the current schedule we got at the moment. But yeah, when both of them start doing something, I ain't really, I'm kind of on a cross that bridge when we get there type of thing.
Yeah, as it happens. For me, it's getting there. It's got to be getting there for you.
Well, I mean, it's gotten there. We just ain't done nothing.
Right.
G, like, when am I going to play football? And I'm like, for real.
She going to let him play?
It's flag. I mean, we gonna let him play flag.
Okay. I was about to say
he gonna get snapped in too. He try to.
The studies are compelling about youth football and the concussions and the injuries and stuff like that. Like the studies are compelling.
And he do bad all by himself anyway. He want to be Dwayne Wade so bad. Like he spends that much time on the ground. He just.
So he's out the soccer phase.
I wouldn't say he's out the phase. He just like he's like, oh yeah, I want to.
He wants to
do everything.
Shit, and you're not in a position to do it, or what?
Well, just like schedule stuff going on. It's just like, all right, we gonna find him a team. Like we gonna get there, and then we got we opened up I got him a new bat and ball because they broke that last one. Went and got a frisbee. I was like, yeah, we about to open up some shit. Got him a wall ball because I'm sick of him using my basketball against my stucco.
Yeah.
Shit's tore the fuck up. I'm like, man,
that's crazy. Because when you was a kid, you didn't understand it. I remember those days. Like
he gonna find a way to do something though. Because like second day, we used the ball one night. I'm like, what's wrong with the wall ball? Oh, it's flat. How is it flat already? And then I'm like, he's like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do with it, like against the wall. I was like, yeah, but what you do, you doing way too much.
Right.
You want to OD every situation.
You're not playing him in wall ball though?
I smoked him.
I was about to say that Foursquare, man. We talked about that before, like on shit you wasn't outside for. But
he came in and was like,
I used to think I was in Wimbledon.
He was out there. He was like dumbfounded. He's like, Mom. He didn't say the words. But he's like, I can't beat Dad. I was like, he's like, I could barely score.
Yeah, he don't know about angles yet.
He's like, Dad's the best person I have ever played. I was like, well, I mean, you've only played a bunch of second graders, so I guess I'll take that.
You didn't feel good about that?
Nah, I mean, it was kind of a lose-lose situation.
Nah, man.
It was either you can't feel good, but you could feel all the way.
But you showing him some shit that like when he go onto the course, I mean not the course, when he go onto the field and play, like they gonna be like, where he learn this shit?
Because at that point it was just all chill. Because he was bringing back up terms I ain't heard in a long time.
Like what?
Like a
what's
skinny,
the one when hit the crack?
Like a skinny, the butt crack.
Yeah, there we go, butt cracks.
He's like, yeah, Dad, it's called a jetty. I'm like, yeah, I remember that. I remember these names.
I remember the jetty.
When the ball hit the wall first before it hit the ground, like just straight up. And I'm like, yo, I don't know none of this. I'm just smoking you right now.
That's right. Yeah, it has to bounce first,
like,
right?
And I remember he's like, Dad, did you ever play wall ball? I was like, I played until I was 5. He's like, why did you stop? You're so good. I'm like,
ain't no Olympics for that.
Because I realized I wanted to go play basketball, I never picked up the wall ball again.
See, that's the part that get me because it's like,
but he was just, and
they think it's a real sport.
You're still this good? I was like, it don't really take a whole bunch of. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay in the side yard. But
bro, want you to come out the sliding glass door with theme music like you had a walkout intro.
Real shit.
Oh man, that's what's up. All right, hit my head class, man. We get straight into it. Wall ball champion over here. Buddy is different. Look, time flies in this chair. Time flies in this chair.
Your spirits are so high right now because you ain't worried about your back.
Bro, because 10 minutes in last week, I was fucking dying. So this week in music, there was a lot of albums that came out. Talking to Lex in the car, not too many of he got the chance to run through, but I wanted to make sure that we highlighted them. Jeezy dropped last week, and we didn't talk about it. I wanted a chance to sit with the music. The problem is that I made a mistake, and I didn't say nothing in the group chat because I didn't want to hear y'all shit later on. But like, yo, I thought it was already a double disc. The first one I clicked, I didn't realize I had to click another one. So he has about 30 tracks that he actually released on Friday. I mean, on that Friday. So there's the first album, which is like 25 songs or 22 songs or something like that. And then there's another one that's about, I think it's like another 18 or something like that. So I got through the first one. On the first one, I didn't really enjoy the front half. It felt repetitive to me, right? It felt like he was just sitting in there and just trying to write catchy hooks and stuff like that. And you know, give you a little bit of something. This is not the Trap Jeezy album. This is his grown man album. A lot of reflection, talking about his BMF days and stuff like that. Dude snitching on him and everything. But on the back half, that was it. On the first disc, that was for me, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed the second disc, like in totality when it's all said and done.
I think that's the general consensus.
How do you feel? The same way?
I'm not as hard on the first half as a lot of people are, but I definitely seen a turn up in quality once it went to one producer and
Justice League, yeah,
it was a lot more focused.
Yeah, you could, and because I was like, yo, in the first 10 on the first one, I was like, usually Justice League has a watermark here, or like, you know, like a stamp here, you know, like somewhere here, like letting you know it's him. But when you get to the second half, like he clearly hit you with the Justice League. You know, I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fire. So, as far as Jeezy's concerned, I like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The second half, and you know, part of me, like, it brings me back every time I listen to a Jeezy album. Let's go to Church in the Streets or whatever. Like that was probably is that the name of it?
No, it is. It's just a wild one to go to off top.
But that's the last one where I felt like we were getting Trap Jeezy, like those type of beats.
We got one last year. His drama tape was
it's not the same. It's not like
well, it wasn't Church in these Streets.
But I like there was like 4 or 5. Don't do that because like I want you to go back and play it because any well, not now for real, but any Jeezy album in the last, I would say, 10 years has had reminiscences of Thug Motivation 101, and that's the Jeezy I want, and it takes me back to those ones. Like, every time I play a new Jeezy album, I go back to TN 101, 102, and stuff like that and listen to them because there's a whole vibe. And when I played those, like, there's about 11 tracks on there that I like. You know what I mean? But I felt like as he's aged in the music and everything, and you know what? We're going to talk about this a little bit, but I feel like social media be killing artists, right? So the fact that I know like you or your wife is, you know, old girl from the morning talk show, it's like I know you're not doing all the thug shit. So it's like I really don't need it from him. You know what I mean? So I just go back for nostalgia purposes.
Well, I need it. If you don't give me 29 of them things, I'm gonna need something.
Even if you're not living it?
Well, no, I mean you can grow and you can just approach it from a different angle.
I mean, yeah, I hear you.
Instead of talking about, hey, I did this yesterday. No, I did this shit.
He's told us that story. Though.
I know, but I'm saying like that's what I go to you for. Yeah, it's cool. Tell me about your LLCs and all that. Like I'm here for that too.
Which is why I value. Okay, so this is hella random, but this is why I value Ghostface. Because when Ghostface tells you a story, he's just telling you a general story about someone. You can always have a hard ass song when you're just telling a story about somebody. Yo, Tony was a blah 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 blah. And it's like, all right, it ain't really him. You know what I mean? But he's just making up a story in hip hop. I like it. Chris Brown came out with an album, 1111. Lex was telling me that it was only supposed to have 11 tracks, but I'm thinking that it's 1111 equals 22 because there's 22 tracks on there. Now, I got a chance to listen to it this morning. It's a very quick listen because I think it's only like an hour of music. Because when I pressed play, by the time we got back, here, it was over with already. And I'm gonna put it to you like this: look, I love Chris Brown, and I think that majority of Chris Brown fans, in my age bracket, they may or may not agree to this, but I think that he makes music where you got to be in a spot somewhere or having something going on. It's great background music. It's great music to dance to and be in a good time. But if I really wanted to get my traditional R&B back, I wouldn't go to Chris Brown. Maybe earlier Chris Brown, absolutely. But also I got to understand this, and we're going to talk about this too in regards to the list because it's list season. But I feel like traditional R&B doesn't really sell. It's now a niche audience. You know what I mean? Like when I go to the R&B playlist and stuff like that, I feel like the majority of R&B listeners are people who would listen to Chris Brown that aren't specifically from our ilk, like they venture over to Chris. I think that they wouldn't enjoy that type of R&B. Like I like the soul, light a candle shit, and that ain't what he's gonna give you because that music isn't selling. You know what I mean? So the shit that I'm hearing, like he's got a few like West Indian joints on there, Afro beat sounding, like that type of sound, that's gonna pop. Right? A lot of the techno electronic sounds or whatever, with a rave and you got a glow stick or whatever, that's gonna pop. But that ain't the type of spots that I like going to. The type of spots I like going to have a potential of being shot up. You know what I mean? Which is why they tell you not to play that type of, or that's why they say, oh, we don't play that type of music, coming through. How you feel about Chris? I know you're not going to probably listen to it or anything like that, to be real.
22 of them things. Oh, man.
You going to get in the car and get your hips moving? I saw you
I don't really have a whole bunch to add to it. It's just like, all right, I fuck with Chris Brown and he does what he does, and
Here's another one that and then we'll let you get to the dark corners of hip hop, right? Kodak Black released an album. I'm not like the biggest Kodak fan, but I will give him a listen. But I hear word in the street is we're supposed to be worried about bro right now.
I have no idea.
Oh,
I didn't know he dropped.
He was on Drink Champs.
I deleted that one.
Did you?
I'm still behind. I'm like I'm usually 3 months behind on Drink Champs.
You about 6 months now? And
that's 3.
Okay.
Still 3.
Stay up with the 3. End of the year list. Are you caught up on all the music that you would need to be caught up on to start your list?
No. That's what November's for.
So you started?
So once November 1st hits, I stopped listening to anything other than my new album rotation. So anything that was on that playlist, and then whatever comes out in November, I just solely focus on that until December 1st. And then December 1st, I go back to January and I run through all 2023.
You got anything new that you got that you gonna do this year, or you gonna kind of keep the criteria the same?
I mean, like, I'll probably deliver it the same. It seemed to work last year for the first half. I'll drop it like 5-10 at a time, and then as it gets to top whatever, I'll start throwing them one at a time. At least on social media. I mean, the group chat, y'all gonna get it the same way y'all always get it.
I think 2 things that I'm gonna change this year that I haven't done in previous years since I joined your bandwagon. Is that I'm not gonna hip hop numbers and the quality of music that we were getting in the beginning, second, and we're in the fourth quarter now. And the third quarter, they weren't that great to me. Like I like a lot more R&B captured me this year. So when I do my list this year, I'm gonna include it with all music that I listen to, right?
That's fine, because that'll beef up your list to where you'll have more albums, because like obviously my list is longer than yours usually. So if you include another genre, you'll get closer to whatever I'm doing. I don't know how many albums it is at this point.
And I'm fake too, because I'm playing the numbers game, right? Like this also helps and gets like female engagement and whatnot. So, why not be able to do that? Because last year when I think about it, it's like, oh yeah, I may pull up like a Griselda song or something like that. I may pull up like fucking Wu-Tang or something, or some old rock, like not old Rakim. What's my other guy's name? I said Rakim. Rocky. Hey, but you know what? He was rapping recently. But I may pull those things up, and it's like, yo, that's not generally what women are listening to. Although what got me is this girl that I know, her story popped up, and she had Key Glock on there, and I was like, man, I wonder if she like loads her 9mm up to this. Like, that's kind of crazy.
I'm in love already.
Yeah, but that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm gonna include, all genres into my music listening experience. Oh, I can actually see when bro comes in now. It's amazing. You can prepare yourself. You'll have a million questions coming in. Anything else in music that you've heard that came out in the last couple of weeks that people should listen to or anything like that?
Nah.
All right, hit the hand claps. We good.
Just I hate those November drops though, because I don't get to sit with it long enough for the list purposes.
The Rick Ross and Meek album you should be able to get to and listen. That's why I haven't talked about it yet. We'll talk about it next week. But yeah, I mean that's something that you could throw in rotation and see. You always do this to Ross too. I feel like this is like the third time he like this is what he does. Oh, did we just land ourselves into an argument on the next? But you do this. No, it's a quick one. You normally do this to Ross. Though. No, I feel like every November, December, January, we have this conversation because Ross drops late, and it's like, bro, you got to start giving him a little grace.
And drop late
Not all
the time.
For you. I feel this is probably like the third conversation we've had about this.
No, just because you be throwing him up there, that you're talking about that one specific year he dropped late, and you had this motherfucker at like number one. I'm like,
but no, he dropped late today, this year too. You talk about some November 1st, and I can't really
he
sit
dropped
with
late
it.
this year.
Because this motherfucker's album's gonna be like number 40 on your list, and I would be like, yo, that's kind of crazy.
I think E40 dropped next week, and he usually gives me like 30 songs. I'm like, come on, dog.
It's all the ones that you love to see, but they give you too much beats.
Like, yeah, but it's all good.
All right, man. Pull up our Instagram story, man. So basically, what I did was I put the random shit to fill in time. Read me the question. We'll talk about it, and we'll talk about if the percentages of people actually agree with us, right? So basically, what I did was I put them in our story. I'm probably gonna start doing it if I can remember to do so in the morning, and I'm gonna have you guys start polling. And I'm going to give you my opinion on what I think about it. And if it doesn't appeal to the masses, then either, I'm crazy or the rest of the world is.
Pull up the story?
Yeah, our story. If you go straight up into the Instagram, pull up the story, and you're going to have to like hold it, but just tell me or go.
Prior to recording today.
All right. Can you read it out loud, sir? This is an audio broadcast.
Does the kids' table still exist for Thanksgiving?
Oh, there we go. That's a great question to ask. So, I forgot which order they were. So, Thanksgiving is around the corner, right? And you've come over for Thanksgiving and stuff like that with your family and everything. We've had other people come over. And I'm remembering like when I was a kid, like, yo, there was a specific table set up for the kids to have. And then there was the grown-up table. Who sat at that table was my grandmother, my great-grandmother, rest in peace, Bernice. She would be there at that table. My aunt, my uncle, my mom and dad, and any other like adult. Now, if you was under the age of 18, you was at our card table that we used to, I don't know if it was a card table or not, but it was the size of one, and I don't even know if they still got them tables anymore. But the kids' table is funny. Now, me and some family members, we not as close as we used to be, right? But when I turned 13, the one family member that I'm thinking about in particular, like we was road dogs. And the one that graduated that we got to see graduate first, or the two that we got to see graduate first, my cousin Daryl and my cousin Randy. Right, Daryl's man. Daryl might be 40 now or above 40, or if not, like just turning 40. And then you got Randy, who's well into his 40s now. And there was a lot of things that I learned about my family, like being able to sit at those tables, right? And it also paved the way of what I could and could not do in subsequent Thanksgivings. Now I'm gonna get my shit off. Like I said, I'm gonna drop 30 today, but I just want to know what's your experience with kids' tables and everything.
Yeah, I think kids' tables is stable. I don't think it's a cultural thing. I think that just happens in everybody's house.
Yeah, but does it exist? I'm not saying it's a black thing. What I'm saying is like, do they even exist anymore? I think no, right? So, but you be going to other people's like spots more than I do. And so like during eating time, so like, do you see kids at their own specific table or are they eating with their parents?
I think it's still getting a little more blended, but also I think just our generation as parents, we maybe, damn, are we fucking it up?
I think we are.
Are we bringing the kids to the grown folks table?
Because you haven't thought about it, huh?
Nah, but I'm also like, because I'm always up and at the move. Like,
you been to John's house like during Thanksgiving?
When I go to John's, but that's like a staple. Like it's usually separated between women and men. It's not
tables.
The tables. It's not like because there's so many people there. It's like the men are in there watching basketball or football. Yeah,
but there's a time when you in there doing your Thanksgiving right? And I'm not interjecting. I just want you to paint the picture because I'm gonna paint the scene. If you've been there early. Football's been on since 10, right? Or 9 in the morning, whenever. Normally Detroit. So, you got the one stragglers or the people that's there early helping prep. And then when it's about 2 or 3 o'clock and it's food time, they usually tell us in our house, turn the TV off. Like we about to get started. Let's pray. We hold hands. And at that point, everybody disperse, right? Now, my uncle, Gary, he gonna go back to the TV. He ain't trying to eat with us. He gonna take one of these TV trays. He gonna sit in front and he gonna do his thing. My dad or my uncle would, venture over, and as we got older and stopped playing football outside and shit like that, we started watching the games with them. So I'm saying, is that like some of your same experiences going over to other people's spot?
Yeah. I mean, because sometimes there'll be so many people there. It's like, all right, not everybody's gonna fit at this table, grown-ups included. So it's like, all right, we just gonna be in here watching the game. The kids will kind of be in the back doing a thing. And then, that generation of kids grows up a little bit, but it's like, hey, there's still a hell of people here, so you going to stay there.
Right.
now you still at the kids' table. You can't really graduate to whatever.
Right.
And then, like, newer kids, a newer generation comes around, and they just fucking mobile.
Yeah, they just moving around.
And yeah, everybody, it's a team effort at that point. Make sure they're not dying, and then, yeah, I guess the smaller the venue, it's like it don't make sense to have a kids table because there's like only a few of us,
right?
So it's like whatever. But
I think also too, like a lot of us, like in terms of like kids wise, like I have more friends that have kids than family members, right? Like my cousins. Yeah. Like my cousin Alonzo, he don't have no kids yet, you know what I mean? And then my cousin Miles, they're still relatively young though, you know what I mean? So it's like they still, like to go out and do things, and which I'm not mad at them about. But within our unit, it's just, it's really just us. Yeah. And even if I outstretch it a little bit to like our other extended family members, they ain't got kids either. So it's like when people keep saying like, oh, people are having kids or like kids young and stuff, it's like, well, in my family, that ain't really the case. Like my kids are the only kids in my immediate family. When other kids come over, like the eating portion is already done. So by the time when people get through, it's like you for yourself. But my thing about the kids table, like I feel like we was the last generation that had a legitimate kids table. I was at the kids table until I was 16, 17, still like doing it. So, and I'm saying this with love, and I'm also going to throw myself under the bus too. At the kids' table, like I remember my cousin Randy brought 2 girls on 2 Thanksgivings. I'll never forget. He brought one girl that was like from Sri Lanka, right? She was beautiful though. She looked like MIA. Fly like paper, get high like planes. And she flew. She stayed with him for a few weeks or whatever. And that was dope. So I was like, oh, so we could bring like quote unquote girlfriends to the thing. I thought this was only family things, right? Because like where we grew up is like everybody's married. Then one time he did the ultimate, right? This was the ultimate test. He brought a white woman.
Yeah. I'm usually the white woman.
Yeah. And I was like, and me and my cousin, you know, the one that I'll be talking about, because I don't even want to put that out there because everybody started linking. We sit up there like, oh shit, he really did it, right? Like back in the day, it used to be like one of my grandmother's friends from Pacific Bell. My bad, I even had a projectile come out from pause. But
these are my favorite stories.
Yeah, from like she worked at Pacific Bell. Actually, it was
Pac Bell.
It was right there. It was right there back in the 90s and early 2000. Maybe it was the 90s. It was right there by Southwestern College. Like before all that land was developed or whatever, like my grandmother worked at that office back then. And so me, you know, now in college.
The whites is allowed?
But here's the thing. Old girl from Sri Lanka, the white chick or whatever, they all had to sit at the kids' table though. We don't know who you are, right? Like you can't just sit here and think like you about to have, you know, sit up here amongst the greats. like you got to put your time in first, right? And so, like, when I got into college, I just started making a habit of, like, bringing people. Every year was somebody new. Like, every time, like...
Yeah, you was loose with it like that?
Yeah, I was real nasty with it, bro. I used to just bring whoever. But also, like, I know, like my family is cool. So, like, if somebody ain't have nowhere to go or whatever...
yeah.
You know, so it's like, all right, well, you know, like, I've spent holidays by myself a few times. Nobody should have to go through that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's a rough one, but it happens, right? Because, like, I've stayed for Christmas... I've stayed or I've gone back early, right? Like, cause I've had to work or some shit, and that shit ain't fun. But you know, I brought you know, she didn't bring a dish. I told her you don't have to bring nothing. Like we take care of everything here. You're not gonna mess this up for us. But anyway, hit me up with the percentages. So, what percentage of the people told us that the kids' table is or is not gone? I need to know.
How am I supposed to find a percentage?
It should. Oh, you know what? I got the percentage. Oh, after you make a vote. So go ahead and vote on something, and then it will tell you the answers.
I was 50-50.
Is it really?
That either means like not a whole bunch of people voted.
Nah, it was a bunch of people that voted because it was at no earlier. So the fact that it moved down to 50-50, you ain't got to say the numbers though. We trying to gain engagement, but there was a bunch of people in the morning. And now I could start doing them a little earlier because they realistically only had 3 hours to do it. But that's crazy. So it is 50-50, I guess. I didn't see that coming for the people that we polled. That's how they do political shit anyway. They go and ask 20 people and then say, oh, this is what the nation is doing. They're not out there graphing 1,000 people. Well, maybe now with survey.
Anything wild happened when a white girl was there? I guess your family's too accepting.
No, like I said, he paved the way. It was the first time we was getting our jokes off. And like it seems disrespectful, but imagine going 12 years of your life and only seeing a sea of black people no matter where you was at. And maybe
I don't have to imagine that.
Well, you've been that guy.
I know that's why I never had that level of uncomfortability because one, I'm a dude, so
and they know who you are though.
Yeah, it's different me coming to dinner because even when I go places.
What black houses have you gone to? Me, John.
I've pretty much every house I've gone to outside of my family has been
like a black household. Yeah, but you've known everyone prior to even going there though,
yeah,
right?
For the most part. But I mean, it's different too because I'm a dude. But like,
nah,
I think so.
Because all right, let's use somebody that we both know.
Me being
Justin was just here, right? Yeah. And we know what his dad looked like, right? Hey, shout out to Justin, that's my guy. But if Jim came over, that's a different quality of white man than you coming in, though.
Yeah,
I'm at 15 points right now. We scoring right now. I like it though. The offense is flowing. But you off because the way you come in here with these slides, it's okay. We're gonna let you slide on the socks, right? The no socks. Damn, you turned me up a little bit. That blared me. But you come in with the no socks. Turn me down a little bit in the headphones. I think it's yeah. Just a tap right there, a little higher. There we go. If you came in like with the no socks and whatnot, I'd be like, yo, what's wrong with him? You know what I mean? But then it's like, oh, he got on the Nike slides. He got on some Puma above the knee joints.
Hey,
like he's with the
don't
culture.
Talk about my cross brands
but
right
I'm
now.
But I did notice that in the car. I was being petty too. I was like, he just got the Nike shorts. It's cool though. He got some in the drawer. He's just being defiant. He's being defiant. But that's what I'm saying. As a white dude, you're a white dude coming in with flavor.
I get that part, but I'm saying it's also different, like because I think if a black woman brings a white dude home, they don't go as hard on her as if a black dude brings a white chick home. That's what I'm saying. I still might get some jokes, all that other whatever.
I don't know if you can say that.
The white girl.
I don't know if you can say that.
I think so.
I know. No, I'm specifically saying this like that because I want to know. I gotta clip this because I want to know now. I really want to know.
I mean, throw that out there.
But you're saying that off of personal experience.
I mean, that's what my.
You remember
I'm also a lot of the families I'm going to like, this is my homie's house, so it's not like I'm coming to is like
even the
I'm
fact that you're saying
homies.
You're not saying, oh, it's my friend.
Well, I'm not dating somebody in the family, so it's like, oh, he's not here to take one of ours away. It's different than if I go to, someone I'm dating's house, and it's like, oh, you're here to. What you doing? I'll get the, the white savior jokes or whatever. But then like a white woman is just like, it's not as championed, if championed at all, but it's less championed.
Do you think that like let's say like if the roles were reversed and we all knew who you were like still to this day, but you had a white woman that you brought to like a Thanksgiving, like people would look at I think we would look at you crazy like, yo, what's up with him?
Right. No, I get that.
Yo, what's up with him? Yo,
I hesitate. I want to go to your...
Nah, bro's acting different. What's up with him? Go to the next one. Let's see what the next slide was, man. That's just funny as hell. If Lex came in with a white woman, we would all think, hey, you sick? Yeah, we give you the forehead temperature. Go ahead, read it off.
Do men have leaders in their friend groups?
What's the percentage? I just want to know that off the rip.
92% yes.
All right, I want to know the demographics of this, but let's talk. So where I got this from, I was watching a social media post, and a girl was saying like, "Oh, when you find out that your dude is the leader of his friend group and you got the cool one, and you felt great about it." And I'm sitting, and then a dude he did a cutaway. And he was like, "The way y'all talking is as if like we sit around and be like, ho, 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 ho." He was doing the Wakanda barking, right? Ho, ho, ho. Shh, he's about to speak today. We are going out to eat. And it's like, nah, we don't really get down like that. And not all of us. 92% is wild. The reason why I wouldn't say that there's a leader in friend group, ain't no fucking way that y'all gonna tell me who the leader is in our little group chat, right? That's our little friend group right there, right? And then in the ones that I grew up with, we're all alpha males. Right? We always argue. Like what we do in that chat is completely different. We at the point right now where I'm not even in my friend group chat, right? And that shit's dismantled because we all are not going along with one person would say. Now, what they would say in the past is that, you would agree with whatever. We had a friend that played in the league, right? So they'd be like, oh, you like agreeing with him because of blah, blah, blah. No, but the way he dressed better than all of us at the time, right? You know what I mean? And the shit that he's doing, like, hey, I can understand that shit, right? And there were certain things that they would say about me 10 years ago when I would reject on going on trips and shit, right? And it's funny because life come back full circle. I had already started talking to you. I wanted to buy a house. So like when they would go places, like I would go 40% of the time, 30% of the time, right? When they would, go out and do trips or whatever. But I just knew that where I worked at, my money was set up differently, that I had to tuck some cash away. So I was able to buy a house at what, 29, 30, right? And now they're starting to do that. But the economy is a lot different now than what it was 10 years ago, right? And the prices of houses, like had I like no knock on them, but had I continued to like follow their lead and do the things that they were doing, I wouldn't be able to own a house today because it's so expensive and the interest rates are up high right now, right? So it's like I'm not a follower in that regard. So for you to say, or for someone to think that like there's leaders, and maybe they may look at me as a leader because of how I'm talking, right? But I would have said the same thing when you put me in the group chat. Oh shit, like, Lex is probably leading the way, but that ain't the case there. Like everyone there, when you get into male conversations with somebody who's on the same wavelength as you, right? Those conversations come with, hey, look, I agree with you or I don't agree with you. I got into an argument with my best friend like last week. It's only our second one, But and he was the best man at my wedding. It was something stupid, but he had just pretty much said, yo, I had enough of this shit, blah, blah, blah. I said, say less, dog. Like, I'm not about to kiss your ass. He not about to kiss my ass, right? So there ain't no real leaders in that group in that regard. But I'll let you go ahead and chime in on what you think.
I think it's just situational. Like,
oh, shit.
I think, yeah, in certain cases, I might be looked at as a leader and, you know.
Don't worry about me. Keep going.
It's where it's like, oh.
You would laugh if I said I was a leader.
No, I think it's situational. Like, you are the A mic, right? You leading the way and I'm following. And like, all right, whatever I'm a hopscotch in, whatever the content you bring, I'm going to try to find something to say about it. You know? When it comes to, you know, if I think about all the people who I associate myself with, when it comes time to do like a Vegas trip or something like that, I'm definitely not the leader in that because I'm going to go and I'm down for it, but I'm never going to organize some shit like that.
But taking command makes you a leader because in those two examples,
I don't know if leader is the right word, but it's like, you know, I think just depending on the situation.
In a woman's eyes, what would you think that they mean by like a leader? Because I feel like this is women who say this. Ain't no way no man is walking around here saying, oh, I'm the leader of my friend group. Or like I'm the one that take charge. Like if I look at my wife's friends, right? Like the core people that she hang out with, I don't know who's a leader at that point. They all got something different. Now, maybe in a man's point of view, like we would say the leader is whoever the finest one was.
I think maybe it depends. Yeah, it depends on the group because I think some groups maybe have like a clear, like maybe it's the one who like just has the most resources or money. Like when you look at when you look at LeBron's crew, who he brought up, he's the clear leader, right? But they all got a bunch of shit going on themselves.
I don't think that they see when I take that is that if LeBron decided to disrespect me, I'm not about to let you talk to me wild.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm pretty sure they keep him grounded. Like, all right, you LeBron, but
yeah, we remember when Tina rejected you back in the day.
That's why I like when Pusha T tried to sun him real quick, even though it's like
sun who.
LeBron.
Explain that. I forgot what happened.
Like that, Bron. I had it a long time ago. Some girl he was stepping out on Savannah from. I'm look at me dirty macking right now.
Stop doing that. We don't even know if that's true.
The way Pusha said it, I was like, oh.
he might have been just being messy. I want to push that narrative.
The girl was being messy.
But but who would you think would be the leader in your friend group if you had to choose one? Nobody?
Well, I mean, I have different sets of friend groups.
Right.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, I don't
really look at it like that.
I look at it like we all leaders. Like I respect like everything that like every gentleman is doing and what path that they on. It doesn't have to be the same as my own. You know what I mean? But maybe this has to do with some like, you know, male peacocking thing. Like you want like women want the man that takes charge and he's a standout or whatever. Whereas like if you saw a group of women like at a club somewhere or whatever, you saw 4 of them, let's say 2 of them was of the larger stature. One was, you know, she was cool, but she ain't the one in the middle, right? Like she not that one. You know what I mean? Maybe you look at it from that perspective, but like us as men and women look at it from, okay, whoever's the most successful then.
Or yeah, they seem to be moving at his pace, or
right.
He seems to be like.
But I've seen that.
Everything. No, it's a real thing. I just don't know.
I've only seen it though in the most shallowest of places.
Yeah.
Right? Like you go to the club or whatever, we figuring out who's signing the receipt. Right? Like who's the one signing the receipt? That's who we want to go to. Not knowing that with the institution of Venmo, maybe we just chose this person to like do it or whatever. Like that shit's fake. It's not real.
I mean, I also think I think a lot of the people I associate with can like work a room on their own. And maybe in some people's circles, it's like, oh, not everybody can do that. So because I can do that, then everyone just kind of like waits on my cue or is kind of going to the beat of my drum or whatever. But if everybody can kind of take charge and lead a conversation or whatever, then I don't think it really applies.
Yeah. And also, I'm going to tell you this. This is my last point on this, and you pull the next one up while I'm doing this. Being a leader ain't got me nowhere if that was the case, right? Like if it came down to like who's signing the checks and who got the flashiest shit, that shit is all superficial. It doesn't mean anything to me. And here's the thing. I've seen bad dudes, right? And bad chicks, with nice cars, but you know what? They got high ass interest rates. So you can sit there and think that they great all you want to. All their money is tied up in that vehicle. So anyway, what's the next one we got?
Do you brings over things to people's houses for get together like gift or food? Who wrote this shit?
I did real fast. Do you bring anything
no
over
matter the occasion?
Do you bring things over, right? Like to people's houses, like gifts and food or whatever, just to, like a little gift. So this dude was on Instagram. I had it on there. I don't know if it's on the if I put it in the actual notes. No, I didn't put it in there. So he was saying that like they had one guy's house that they used to always go to, right? That was your house for a while, right? And I realized this in some other people's houses that I would go to. He had a full bar. And so when he had the full bar, sometimes I would do things though. But he would go over there and he was like, hey man, can you bring something when you come over here? He's like, why, man? You already got a full bar. He said, yeah, but alcohol ain't cheap. Like, you can bring a case of beer. You can bring a little bottle. It ain't even got to be something nice or whatever. Just bring something because we're having all the get-togethers here, and I'm flipping most of the bill, right? And so then I started thinking about it, like if it was a game night, holidays, Christmas and stuff like that, I'd absolutely, I don't go empty-handed. But a game night, I'll either offer to be like, yo, you gonna get something to eat? You want to split it or whatever? Or I'll bring something. Like I've brought wine and stuff like that to your house on occasions earlier on in our relationship, and somewhere down the line in terms of our relationship and hanging out with our kids and shit in that type of manner. But down the line, I stopped doing it. And I always thought that it's common courtesy to bring something over to someone's house, if they're having an event, if I don't know them. But if I know them, I always used to talk it up like, man, they got shit there. Like, it'd be all right. So what do you think about that?
I think it's about the same. Like a lot of times, like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depending on like, if it's in like an event, then yeah, I think it's more in my mind. Like, oh yeah, let me not come empty handed. Sometimes if it's not an event, yeah, but then a lot of times, like, all right, well, it's like, oh, I got to go out of the way to go grab something real quick when I'm just like, we just kicking it or whatever. Like, situational. I don't think it's like I don't look at it one way or the other. Like, if people come empty handed all the time, it's just kind of whatever. But, yeah, it's nice.
Now, do you ever go over to somebody else's house with food and don't offer it to everyone else?
Nah, if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna eat before I go.
Yeah, because I feel like I've seen people do that.
Unless I'm dying, like, hey, I just had to grab something real quick and it was everybody's whatever. But
yeah, I mean, like for me personally, I feel like I will eat before I go. But fuck it, man. If the food ain't that great there, man, I might have to just get me something. Like I don't know. Like it just depends. Like on the situation. Because certain things I just won't feel bad about. Like if it's something I can't eat, like for example, if somebody's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a fish fry," but they wanted us to like support them, I have no problem with supporting you. The problem is I'm allergic to fish. I'm allergic to seafood. I can eat shrimp, and that's about it. Everything else I turn into hitch. So if it was like a fish fry or something like that, I'd be like, "Yo, y'all go ahead, rock out or whatever. I'll make it work." You know what I mean? Or if it's something that I won't usually eat, like it's not a meat day, cool. Don't worry about me. Now, the only problem is that if the general consensus of the party is like, yo, this food ain't good, and I'm coming in there with like a rib spot, then I'm gonna feel like an asshole. Shit, thinking of that, I might have to go to bow-legged today. I've been doing good, bro. I lost like 12 pounds just like not even trying, just cutting down what I eat. So this dude that I know.
Who would have thought portion control?
Bro.
That was my biggest thing.
Yeah. I mean, so this is what I do with my wife. And this is why I hate the ignorance of people, because I forget about the stupid shit that happens to me during the week. Here's one thing. A dude came in here to pick up that black couch with a Dodge Charger. That was crazy, right? I forgot. These are just things that I don't think about, that I laugh at in the moment and instantly forget. He put that shit on top of the hood of his car and strapped it down and drove off with it. I was like, yo, shout out to you. And the polish job my dad put on that shit was crazy. I was losing grip and everything, right? He was serious. So as far as the portion control, there's this guy I play golf with that my dad works with, but I met him at the golf course. Turns out they work together, and we, did a little golf trip and shit like that on the Palm Springs a few months back. I love this man, but he's amazing, right? Just like the wisdom. So we were going out to restaurants, like him and his wife were splitting food. Now, his wife had lost a lot of weight, and he lost a lot of weight too, and he's strong as hell now. And he was like, look, this is what we do. When we go out to eat places and we know we eating stuff that we're not supposed to eat, one, we know the portions that they give us is already crazy. We just split it, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me try doing that. So I'll go get a whole thing of point aside of fries or whatever on the weekend, just trying to like live my best life, and I'll split it. And I'm not disgustingly full like how I feel when I try to kill the whole thing off. Even my wife was like, yeah. And she's not even big. She was like, yo, I used to kill a whole thing off myself too. But eating half of it, bro, I'm good. 5 hours later, I can eat the next meal and not feel like, oh, I'm just going to eat snacks the whole time to get back to that feeling. Like, why do I need to get there? There's no reason to be there. So I literally just started splitting like plates in half. So I'm at work and I'm telling this to a few people that was asking me questions about shit. Here come this motherfucking hater. Oh, you doing that because you guys don't want to spend full price? No, motherfucker. Like, that's not why we do that, right? We do that because we trying to eat better, you know, and he's sitting there talking this shit, you know, and he not in the greatest of shapes, but he feel like he is. He one of them, you know, 40-year-old dudes just trying to like make himself feel good, dress like a kid still, bro, wearing Jordans and shit. You know, I want to get my shit off a little more, but I'm not. But I looked at him as he kept going, and he did it again maybe 10 minutes later with a new group, like bringing that shit up. And I was like, you know what? Only one of us can run from here to the freeway, and it ain't you, right? So I was like, we not going to keep trying to talk about like my athletic prowess compared to yours when only one of us can make it to the freeway jogging. So I'm not trying to hear it right now. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now in my weight loss journey. Been walking a lot when I play golf. Hit 100 miles on my electronic cart that I got. Sound crazy, right? It's lazy, but I'm not because I'm walking 5 miles a day. So I did 100 miles in a matter of 3 months, which I think is good on top of my normal gym work, which is about 12 miles a week. So yeah, man, all it is the food intake for me though. You looking thin. My wife was like, yo, you looking skinny. You was like, stress would do it to you. I was like, nah, you look healthy again though.
I'll be working too. Stress is for the jokes and the narrative, but.
You was trying to like lose some weight.
No.
Or be healthier.
I'm not mad at no, it's just more of I've also been doubling up my, like my circumstance, like my mornings opened up. So now it's like, oh shit, I can actually go jogging in the morning like I used to.
Right.
So now instead of just my lunch walk, I'm also adding an extra 5 miles on the morning jog.
Mental health wise, how's that doing for you though?
I mean, it keeps me on the endorphin high and all that other shit, but yeah, I'm biggest thing, like right now I'm feeling kind of like shit because we had like some wings and things. But
last night?
Yeah, that shit.
Hey, they little fry menu, it's kind of fire though. They got the little buffalo fries.
And but the healthier you eat and like the cleaner you are, like that shit hits you even harder when you actually go for it.
Yeah. And I pay for it. Like whatever I do on the weekend, I don't reset till Tuesday. I don't reset till Tuesday, man. I be trying to get my shit together. Hit my hair class, bro. I'm telling you, time in this chair be flowing, bro. We're already 53 minutes in.
You don't want another one?
Nah. Oh, we had another one?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and read it off.
What era would you have wanted to grow up
liked
in?
That one.
Looking back at.
Okay, before you go over the responses of everyone else, I specifically, and I want to know why you would choose that, right? I'm actually interested in your answer because you always say you grew up in the wrong one. I personally like the era that I grew up in. So the choices that you had was the era you grew up in. I think it's the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right?
80s, 90s, 2000s.
80s, 90s, and 2000s. Yeah, I like the era that we grew up in because I'm going to tell you why. We are a bridge between the 2000s era and a little bit of like residue of the 80s already, I think, as a 90s. That's just my opinion, right? You don't have to agree. No one has to agree. But I like the fact that, like, here's the thing. When MTV came out, this is around the time of Big Pimpin', Cisco's Thong Song. I would say I wish that I grew up in the 80s because I would have been able to experience that music and that club life and stuff like that. Because now when I go out places, I feel like clubs ain't the same, right? It's about looking like you have it in a spot that's not owned by you, right? And drinking and having a perceivable good time. But I don't feel like this era really dance with each other. I feel like they do a lot of solo dancing, right? And I love the era that we grew up in because we had swinging parties, right? You know, we used to go over to people's houses at the end of school or whatever. My mom probably don't even know this, but we used to, when school let out early or whatever, we would go over to people's houses and they would put on some music and you try to black out the curtains because the sun is still up and just be out there dancing and shit. They don't do that now, right? So I appreciate our era because, one, you literally had to go outside. Right, I got some other shit on random shit to fill in time for other days or whatever, but like I just enjoyed it. Like we were not the last group to go outside, but we were able to like bridge it. So that's why I can understand somebody who, from a cultural standpoint, you're not saying smeared and queer or all them other terms and everything else, right? So like I hear that, right? But then also we're able to be a chameleon and identify with that. So I personally like the era that we grew up in, which is the 90s.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
If you had it, so
I think I could have thrived in any of them except for like this new one.
Yeah, for
2000s,
no one's choosing
for the same reasons. It's like, I think about it like in the early 2000s. Some of that, like I was talking about this the other day when that J. Cole interview came out, and he was talking about, he's like, I had to like really talk to myself and be like, oh, I'm a hater. And I was like, you know what? I'll be hating sometimes too. Because I'll be watching, and I notice it when I'm watching a lot of these verses.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like I'll get excited when the songs come on. But in the time that they were out, I wasn't fucking with them.
Yeah.
Like I was never a Ja Rule fan. I was never a fan of some of the stuff when it was out.
But you can appreciate it.
But then like 20 years later, I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be a good time.
So you didn't like Where Would I Be Without You?
I never really rock with Ja, period.
Bro, because it like
pre-50.
That's what's cool about the 2000s, I would say, right? Like
but a lot of similarities with what you were saying. Like, oh, we actually, like, when we went to a party, like, we had fun. We weren't trying to document having fun.
Yeah.
And it was like, we were focused on the actual fun instead of just looking like we were having fun.
Right.
When I go to these shows and concerts, like, I'll get a couple videos now, but a lot of times, like, people just have their phone up. Like, you're not even enjoying the concert because you so focused on watching it through your phone screen.
Right.
And, yeah. And the era was like, okay, we're the progression of whatever is like, all right, we cool here. We are a bridge. We can understand pre-internet and the internet at the same time. I think I would have been a different person if I grew up in the 80s, but I still think I would have been fine.
Right.
And
you'd probably be more disgruntled. Like Uncle Jerome. Yeah. Like Uncle Jerome. You be in there. You can take that little drawing with you and get out of here. They redoing that little scene when he brought his the African mask. I'd be like, take that little shit with you.
I'd be a lot more aggressive in my get off my lawn stuff.
Absolutely. We looking at him right now. But I mean, he grew up in the 60s or the 70s. The time period, the time period is completely different from when my dad grew up in the shit. Maybe even when that's our neighbor Jesse. Even when Jesse grew up, man, they a lot different, bro. Just even the way they communicate and do things, man. But I mean, it is what it is. All right, man. Hit my hand claps, man.
Oh shit! Was that
boy lagging right now?
No, I'm trying to see it. I thought there was one more.
Nah, we good. That should be all of them. I only left 4 of them up there. Oh, what was it? What was the scoring on that one?
53% was the era grew up in. 27% 90s.
And what was the 2000s?
7%.
Ugh. All right, we all in agreement here.
It also depends on your definition of grew up. Like what age bracket are you
10
talking
to 20?
About?
Like your childhood. I was born in 89, but I grew up in the 90s. I'm not an 80s. I can't go walk around here saying I'm an 80s baby. You can't walk around really saying you're an 80s baby either, though. You know what I mean? Like your experiences are documented from like growing up, that your roots from the 90s.
Yeah, but you can also say that the age bracket of the 2000s is like, I'm growing up. Like I was 12 in the year 2000.
No, what I'm saying is if you're born in the year 2000,
You're talking about which year you were born in. Then that's what you're saying.
No, but there's a time span.
I'm saying the way people voted, they might have seen like. Are you talking about the year?
In 2001, I was like 11 or 12. I'm coming in with 90s ideals. I'm not coming in with.
I understand what you're saying. I'm talking about we don't know what these numbers mean because everybody might be saying something.
Absolutely, that's why that's the beauty of it. I don't want to pinpoint shit. Like I want to leave it room for argument and interpretation. Read them in wheat. I was at the gym yesterday around midnight, so naturally it was almost empty. There were a few other people doing other machines, but none were on the treadmill. I hopped on one near the middle and was on it for about 20 minutes before somebody came in and literally got on the run right next to me and started running. There are TVs overhead, but they're all the same channel. So wanting a view of a particular show was off the table. I stopped running and politely asked them if all the other treadmills are open, why would you pick the one next to me? I'm not asking you to me. I'm just curious why some people do stuff like this. Instead of answering, they just looked at me dumbfounded. So I moved to a different treadmill. When I got home, I told my people what happened. One of them said I shouldn't have said nothing at all and just picked a different one in the first place. And the other one agreed with me that it was super weird. Was I in the wrong here? I just feel like certain social rules shouldn't be broken. Now, what I can equate this to...
The bathroom?
Exactly. Right? If we go to the men... Now, I don't know the women's bathroom protocol, but men's bathroom protocol, look, bro, if there's no dividers between you and I, like we had like a stadium or something like that, because it makes sense, right? They trying to get the most bang for it, like the most peeing that you can get in. They're not going to put the little dividers up. But if we're there... and I get the single one in the corner and I turn my back because, hey, look, I don't want to expose myself like I normally do when there's a bunch of people in here and just say, fuck it. Don't pull up next to me. Right? Like you could do your business somewhere else. I know if this place was crowded, you would have no choice. But I also make it a point where when it's not midnight, to not get on the same treadmill as someone else. Give them their little space. Like, yo, you can have your room. Here's the shit that I hate. First read, you can say this dude was tripping, right? Like, yo, this person could go anywhere they want to. But there's always the people that hit you with the extras on a pull-up game like that, right? You get the dude next to you in the stall that like spitting in the stall or, you know, passing gas and all this other shit. And it's like, dog, you could have did that shit somewhere else, right? It's usually grown older men that just don't give a fuck anymore. I get on the treadmill. There's the girl. I get on the Stairmaster. There's the people that love to go sideways up that bitch. Guess what happens when they go sideways? They like breathing on me. Don't breathe on me. Like, bro, you got all this room over here to do that shit, and you gonna do it now. So how do you feel about people pulling up to you at your personal space? It doesn't even have to be a treadmill. It could be peeing. It could be doing anything like writing something down, like you're at a DMV window and they choose number 12, you at 11, but 1 through 8 is open. You know, whatever it may be. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like there's a social norm to it?
I think there is a social norm. Like, I'm not going to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to verbalize it to them. Like, yo, why are you being weird right now?
Is it weird to just get off the machine and go to the next one?
If I feel that strongly about it, then I also think it's different because it sounded like this is coming from a woman and a dude came in. So he's like, yeah, I'm about to be next to her. Just breathe like, oh, yeah, look how fit. He was probably on some type of time like that. Like, I'm just trying to be next to her on some weirdo shit. But at the same time, that was the approach he took. I'm probably not, I don't care enough to where I'm going to be like, I'm going to switch my run. I'm going to just finish my run and keep it pushing. But yeah, I'm going to be like, all right, that was weird.
I got one. What if you go walking at the park and someone decided to use you to keep pace?
That's happened. And they've told me.
And it bothers you.
Does it bother me?
Yeah.
Nah, not really. I mean, if I'm on the phone, maybe. But if I'm just usually
just out there chilling.
If I'm with my headphones in or whatever, then it's just like, oh, I'm just.
Yeah, personal space is a big deal to me.
Doing me.
Like me and you cool, but you got this thing that you like to do, and everybody that know you gonna start laughing. Because, like, say when we was all hanging out back in the day, I don't think maybe I told you. Yeah, I used to tell you straight up when you was there. Whenever you felt back in the day when we used to argue when we was at parties and shit like that, obviously alcohol and shit like that was involved, but you were in your face type of.
Oh, yeah. When I'm
Yo, Lex, if you get him in his bag about some shit that he really love, and we just having a good time and we lax, he will get closer than close, right? He will be all up in you. What is the stream? You get into tell me what a stream is, and he will argue with you, and it's cool, right? I take that because we've already engaged like that, but I have a problem with like when I be at work, people will pull me to the side and get close. Like, yo, back up, man. Like, why are you so close? It's bad enough that like I'm one of only a few black men in this place, and you making it worse by being real up close with me, right? I'm also cognizant about like who I sit down with, right? Like at like lunchtime and shit like that, right? Like I ain't no way that I'm about to sit at. If there's 7 women at a table, I'm not going down there to go sit down. Even if there's 2 or 3, I'm not going. Because the narratives that people paint is disgusting sometimes. So I just try to stay away from that, right? Even if it's like 6 dudes, if I don't really know y'all like that, like I'm not about to participate. Like at work, bro, it's like I come in here to do what I need to do and I get out. If I need to conversate, I can respond to the shit that's going on in the group chat every day. You know what I mean? But if there's a group of 6 women at the table, you sitting down, lunchtime, gossip girls, getting your bag in.
Sometimes that's fun.
That's what they go do.
Oh, yeah, but I mean...
I seen a dude get fired off of that shit. That's why I was like, yo, I ain't doing that.
Well, you also... You a supervisor, so you can't really move
even before then, anyway, I wasn't doing that, yeah.
But, yeah, at work, I sit down with a lot of women, but it's like, because we're cool. Not like, I'm just sitting down... just like, oh, let me see if I can jump in here and see what y'all talking about. Yeah, I don't be doing that.
It's you...
But I also have to live with like the narrative that's painted. Like, oh, he hitting one of them or all of them,
or she likes him.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's always.
But
so.
I've been getting that since high school.
Yeah, it ain't gonna change. I mean, in people's defense, that it happens to, like that is a reality that happens, but it ain't none of my business.
Because even at work, one of the janitors would come through all the time, right? He one of them old school cat. And the way he
got a keychain.
The way he give it up, like he just like no filter. And he'll see me, and
I can only imagine.
I'm usually walking with women or whatever. He'll see me.
Oh no!
But then when he see me alone,
that's envy.
Well, yeah, when he see me alone, but he admitted he come like when he see me alone, he'll come up to me, my man, and he's like, "You always got something with you, man."
Well, and I'm like, "Well, he always got something with you." It's crazy. And at work, it's crazy.
And he's like, "And they all okay with it?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Man,
what area he grew up in?"
Oh yeah, he
if you took a guess,
60s.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, man, I used to be like that too." And then I'm looking at him like, I ain't trying to be I'm trying to lead the way with the janitors. Not saying that the way you was is the reason you a janitor, but I'm like, all right.
Oh shit!
And then he started bringing out his phone. You see what I'm working with right now? And I'm like, yo, you too old for this shit. The phone. That look like you paying for it.
Bro, I'm only dying because we had a dude like that, and I didn't think about that till right now, bro. I don't even want to say used to, because this was only a few years back. Bro's a janitor. You're a Raider fan, everything. Cool, brother, man. Shake your hand. Hey, all right now, I just want to help you out with blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And somebody showed me a photo of him. He like going to like events and shit like that, but he was at 94th and Aero Squadron. Bro had on a suit with the arms cut out. He had on, and then he had a see-through joint, right? I was like, oh, he grew up in the 60s too, but I was like, yo, bro's different, right? So I was like, yo, bro he's extremely different, but he be out there. He said, hey man, you see that right there? I was like, look, man, we don't even need to be doing all this.
That's why I had to tell him, shout out to George. I had to tell him, I was like, yo, we're not the same.
Yeah.
The reason that because he's like, man, everybody just so, I was like, the reason all these women are comfortable being around me is because I'm not thinking like you thinking. I know how to be around women. I'm not harassing them.
Right.
Like, I can acknowledge, like, oh, she fine, and not want to hit.
And tell her, like, oh, you look nice today, right? Instead it's like, woo-wee. You can't get
like,
that
I'm not
off.
sitting here like...
The ooh-wee is crazy.
If they getting catcalled all day long...
Yeah, they're not
and they around somebody that's not doing it, then they're like, oh, shit, I can have a conversation with a man, and he ain't got all these other intentions.
I wish this is some shit you could tell the hood dudes, too. Right? Like the cat call, like
I be trying to tell him, like,
I'm not taking the chick that responds to the cat call. That means that like you love that attention.
They door-to-door salesmen.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game for them.
I'm not doing that. Yeah. Because whoever, like, I'm advertising, but if you pick up the advertisement, I know what's going on here. I want the one that ain't going for my shit. That's the one I like. My wife was like that. She ain't fuck with me, man. Like she'll tell me like, oh, I liked you and all that other shit, but you wasn't outwardly about that shit. Like imagine her like when she just in her regular space. That was her when I used to come and talk to her. She just chilled. Like that's her though. Right? So I was like, oh yeah, like that draws me. Even now, some days I walk in, she gonna hate that I'm gonna say this, but like even now she walk in disinterested in what's going on in my day. I be picking at her like, oh, what's up? You know, not on the first walk in, but after I get my thoughts together and shit like that, I get in my bag. Podcast Carl and me is the same person.
How am I going to pick a fight today?
Yeah, absolutely. Or what's some wild shit that I can say or come up with? That's always been me though. You know, and that I ain't gonna never change up.
Why
on
you
that.
Look upset that I came through the door?
Yeah. Nah. Her thing is
you start taking it real left. You know, I couldn't have came through the door.
She on her way here too. We gonna watch the game. We doing a good time. Look what happened when I get you here early.
Get me here. We was here at the same time.
I'm fucking with you. It's really the new setup. I ain't got to play with the cords and all that other shit. The shit's normally where it's at. Hit my hand class.
I just realized that table was saving my life because now I want to do all this shit with my legs.
Nah, I like the lean now. We're going to have to figure out when somebody get up in here how we go get this corner.
I'm also, I'm going to bring back the joke from pre-production. I'm not trying to look like Lil' Kim Hardcore 96.
Nah, we definitely lost where we came from or whatever because even the way you sat down just let me know like, yo, it's different. Like you sat down and soaked in, like you missed the old, but then you're accepting the new. Fun facts: the first computer mouse was made out of wood. I saw that, which I thought was crazy, that it being made out of wood. But I also remember watching. Did I have you watching that Million show?
No.
So there's a show on Netflix. I think I talked about it on here. I can't think of the name of it, but it has to do with like collectors and shit like that. So the dope part about it is though, and what it has to do.
Oh yeah, you talked about that. I ain't watched it though.
The dope part about it, about that show, I can't think of the name of it now, was that they had the first. There was a guy that collected all the Apple computers. So the first computer that Steve Jobs ever made, like it had a screen, a keyboard, but it looked like it was open. Like you know how if you open a desktop. Like it wasn't like enclosed in anything or anything like that. So when I think about it in that fashion, if that's what the first mouse looked like to go with the first keyboard or whatever, cool. The crazy part is I want to say that Steve Jobs, when he made the very first Apple computer, he only made about like 20 of them and he sent it to like friends and shit like that. That Apple computer in mint condition, I want to say goes over $100,000.
I can see that.
And there was a guy that had every iteration of an Apple computer, and he was looking at he was just trying to get a feel for how much he could possibly sell it for, which is pretty dope. So yeah, the average person will spend 4 years of their life eating. Now I know Lex is looking at me saying that I probably spent 7, but yeah, you spend about 4 years of your life eating when you tally up the numbers. So we got sleeping. We had 20 years of your life sleeping. Right. And then as far as eating is concerned,
5 years on social media. That was last week.
5 years on social media. So these are like I'm breaking down life like with some of these questions. Chat GPT. Look, man, you got to get on it.
I wonder if most of that comes when you're young because I feel like at least my kids, we approaching that 4 years real quick. These motherfuckers take forever every single meal.
For real? They still doing that?
Still doing that.
That's crazy.
They doing too much.
Chris hit a whole half a burrito in about 20 minutes. We was at the spot, Corey too, but we had baseball practice, so I ran him to the ground. Hey, you know what? Speaking of that, now that we landed, this is why I love random facts and coming up with topics because shit comes up. So we was practicing. I got about 80 baseballs, right? So like I can just get them in rotation. We ain't got to stop. So I was having him throw it, to where first base would be at, but he had to just throw it over the bucket. So I knew that it's going to be something that was catchable. So this kid comes up, right? His mom is on the other side. And the first kick, I let him get it off, right? But I've had like kids steal golf balls and shit at the park when we've gone there. So I was like, you know what? Let me just watch this little kid real quick. He's now going through the trail of balls that we have and kicking him. And I'm like, hey, yo, don't do that. He look at me, right? And he kick it again. I said, yo, it's the last time I'm going to tell you. Don't do that. right? So he went over to his mom, right? And she looking at me kind of crazy.
He tried to touch me.
Nah. He was on the other side. Like, he was probably about 20 yards out. But she's looking at me like, oh, he said something to you? Yeah, I said something to him. You got a problem with telling somebody else's kids to stop doing some shit if you don't know them?
Do I got a problem?
Yeah. Or if somebody told your kids not to do something?
If I don't know them, do I have a problem with it? I mean, if they was doing some shit and out of my pure negligence, I wasn't the one that was saying, yo, chill.
Like if they went and picked up some other kid's bike. Like, hey, don't pick that bike up.
I'm not gonna have too much of a problem. I guess that's all gonna depend too on like the tone.
Nah, my tone was hella stern. I hit them with the Thorpe special.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm usually gonna look at what they was doing, and then I'm gonna look at myself, like why I didn't get to them before someone else did.
Right.
But yeah, if it's
I feel like what most parenting that we live in right now is no accountability. Right? Like, yeah, you might get mad at me for like how my tone and like how I generally like express myself in that moment with your child. I didn't put my hands on them. I didn't call them out of their name. I went to, hey, I'm gonna get your attention. I'm letting you know I don't like that. But if you're feeding into that, that's a bad life lesson, right? Touching somebody else's shit, like as an adult, will get you hurt. You know what I mean? We keep going on. I keep flowing on things. There was a dude when we was outside of the taco spot by Taco Revolution, the spot we like to go to. So, dude, I won't say his ethnicity because I want to say it so bad, but he was sitting on my car when I was coming out, on the phone, and I hit the button. He still don't move, right? And he looked down, and then he get back on it. I said, "Yo," flat out, right? Because at that point, I was like, "Yo, the gall of you." I said, "Yo, what the fuck's your problem, dog? Like, yo, get off my car. I'm not on your car." I said, oh, now you really about to get me set off, right? I was like, look, I be trying not to have these moments and I'm trying to get better. I was like, but you playing. I was like, yo, you can't do that here. Don't be sitting on people's stuff like it's random. It's nighttime. I'm thinking you got the drop on me, right? So touching other people's stuff will get you hurt because I was ready to fire off on dude. I don't know who you are. My family's with me. And I'm going to protect ourselves at all times if you touching something that's mine. So for these kids and these parents or whatever, yeah, keep trying to shelter them all you want to or whatever. But there's some life lessons that they going to learn the hard way if you keep trying to protect them because you're not going to be there all the time when they become adults and stuff.
Yeah, that's why I don't be tripping. And I also grew up in an era where everybody's mom was your mom and could tell you to stop doing that or shit. I think the group of parents I was around, I don't think they'd be tripping if another mom put their hands on you like, yo, you wilding right now.
Yeah, that ain't happening in this era.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Not even for us though. But I think we've been desensitized to so much shit, bro, that like, yo, we know that some teachers are weird. We know that some police officers are weird. You know, we know that fucked up shit just be happening in the world. So we're not in a position on just letting it happen all the time. So let's get some quick hitters. The average person breathes in and out 20 times a day. Lex just added 4 to the list right now.
Breathe in and out.
Yeah, breathe in and out 20 times a day. Now you can get a little respiration, 20,000 times.
I feel like you breathe
every
way
second.
more than that.
You think it's more than that?
Breathe in and out 20 times a day?
I said 20,000 times.
Oh, 20,000 times.
Yeah, 20.
I was like, do you mean
that
y'all?
count is gonna stop at some point if you only do it 20? We can put it to you in that fashion. The Lion King was originally supposed to be called King of the Jungle before they realized that lions don't actually live in jungles.
Yeah. So
that was a wild one for me. I didn't know that. I can't imagine watching. Saying, hey, you ever seen the movie King of the Jungle? Like the Lion King is there's beauty and simplicity there. So, yeah. Now, this one got me, and we'll pivot out of here real quick. In 1907, a woman was arrested on a beach in Boston for wearing a one-piece swimsuit. Hey, look. Times has changed. Y'all may not want to admit it, right? Just like as much as like black people don't want to admit that, like, yo, we've come a long way. Not saying where we need to be at, right? We're not where we need to be at with women. But y'all not getting arrested for wearing a bathing suit, one piece is crazy because now you can go. There's new beaches. So there was no new beaches in 1907, I would imagine, especially not in Boston. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I didn't know what she looked like.
Me too.
Did you get arrested because, don't nobody need to see that? Or did you get arrested? Or did you get arrested on some hate and shit? Like, oh, she nice and curvy. Don't be out here trying to take our men's.
Oh, wait, there was no cell phones back then because I was going to be like, I wonder who called. She probably caught the patrol.
They sent up the smoke signal.
Yeah. Or it was somebody's wife like, Dottie, you know better. like you know better.
Take her to jail.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Hit my hand claps. Now, I just got this as a current event type thing to kind of track the here and now. So we'll just talk current events, right? But I was going down a rabbit hole and I was looking at when did social media become to what it is now? Social media has completely evolved, right? It's completely different. How we consume social media, what we consider to be funny is now based on social media. A lot of the things that we laugh at are now situational funny, right? Growing up, we talk about eras that we grew up in. We didn't talk about situational funny things like what somebody would do if they were in this situation, or dudes be or what's a social norm. Social media connected us to where we all share kind of the same norms or feel like we can express those same things. It's yo, what's going on with somebody in Atlanta or what they're facing is the same thing we kind of face too over here on the West Coast, right? We're connected in that fashion, so we can laugh at some of the same things. Although we have the same core values, but it's not completely the same. We can laugh off of things based off of having those same values. So one of the first social media sites was born in 1997. And it's crazy that social media sites, when I looked at it, were rooted in connecting people for dating more so than it was just to be connected with your family. So you had 6degrees.com in 1997. And it was one of the first true social media sites. You could set up a profile page, create lists and connections, and send messages within your network. The site amassed around 1 million users before being bought out for 125 million, only to shutter in 2000. The next one was you had the year 2000, Hot or Not, amihotOrNot.com. That site invited users to submit photos of themselves so people can rate each other. You remember that?
I remember that one.
Do you really? That's crazy. After being sold off a few times, it's currently rebranded as a dating app / chat and date app. And then also, Hot or Not is rumored to have influenced the creators of Facebook and YouTube and nurtured millions of insecurities. So we sitting here talking about what social media does, on a few episodes, what social media does to people and their insecurities and how they feel about themselves. The shit happened over 25 years ago.
Don't blame our generation for everything.
Yeah, you can't.
There were people before us that we took the baton from.
Right. And I wonder if people could see the responses on that.
I mean, yeah. It was I mean, have you seen the Social Network movie? It was similar to that, and it was basically a poll, percentages up there.
That's crazy.
So I can imagine if you was on there, you just refresh all the time, word. Real humbling experience.
I wonder if men were on there like that.
I mean, men were doing a lot of the rating, I guess, on the women's shit, but yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be bold. That's stepping yourself out to the fire to face criticism. Because I feel like social media is where people can get their thoughts off without having any repercussions from it, in the physical. You know
Twitter
what I mean?
fingers.
Launched in 2002, Friendster. I didn't talk about that. Friendster 2002. Launched in 2002, Friendster was originally going to be a dating site that would help set up people with friends in common. You could create a profile, include status updates, and reveal your mood. That's way before, Facebook came out. You know what I mean? That was way before, Instagram and all that other stuff. So, I mean, these are all things that were getting us started in that fashion. Then you had MySpace in 2003. Friendster's rival was MySpace. Quickly became the go-to site for millions of hip teens. It customized public profiles, which often feature music, video chats, and badly shot half-nude selfies. They were visible to anyone that contrasted Friendster's private profiles. So MySpace, there was no privacy or nothing like that. You could just hop on somebody's page if they had it. Then they came up with the top 8. Remember that? You could put your people in your top 8 who you mess with. My shit was interchangeable, right? I was telling my brother-in-law this when we was talking about it. I was like, yo, like some of these kids that have 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 followers and shit like that, like they grew up in this era. Like I could have had it too, but like the difference is like in 2013 when Instagram came out, most people didn't want to get off of Facebook. Like everyone loved Facebook. I had more friends at one point on Facebook and people that I was denying than I had on Instagram. When Instagram came out, I was in college. So, and I was in a period in college where I was like a junior, senior, whatever, getting ready to go to the master's program and all that shit. I wasn't meeting people like that. But if I was in middle school and high school, imagine the ecosystems. You just following somebody just to follow them. You instantly have a link to them. Before, as when I used to have to go home, I had to just wait to see somebody the next day, right? Like you can meet some girl or whatever that you ain't never seen on campus or whatever, and then DM her and be cool with her. Like I can only imagine what these kids be going through.
Shit. I'm glad I missed all that.
Yeah, but I that's what I'm saying. Like yo, you look at people, look at follower counts and all that other shit. Like it's different being born into that, right? We weren't born into that. If a new website went off right now, which they did, like Threads. Right, and unless you go and click the follow button on somebody, like whoever you got on Instagram is whoever you got. You know, if they want to follow you on Threads or whatever, it's a choice up to them. You're gonna have a drop off. And then here's the gaining traction was LinkedIn, YouTube, and WordPress, and all those came in 2003, 2005. What got me is that a lot of the same companies or the bigger social media sites ended up gobbling up some of these startup companies and taking their ideas and stuff like that.
That's how it goes.
It's a real nasty game. Yeah, man. But I mean, like I didn't like Facebook bought Instagram. I didn't know that shit happened like a long time ago. Like I thought that shit happened within the last 5 years. That shit was like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for it then.
That's what business does. It doesn't have to be social media.
In 2003, Mark Zuckerberg launched FaceMash, described as Harvard University's answer to Hot or Not. The Facebook followed in 2004, registering its 1 millionth user in 2005. I want to say he's at the billions now. He's up in like that might be Facebook may be the most popular social media site, second to like maybe Instagram or something like that. But he had 1 billion users a while back. Twitter came alive in 2006. When did you first get your Twitter?
2009.
So you had missed the first 3 years of that, huh?
I think it really jumped in 2009.
What got you on there?
I was holding for a back because even back then I'm like, man, I don't need this shit. I was holding, and I think I was just like, I came for the jokes.
It was a good time back then.
I came for the jokes.
I missed all that.
People was really giving it up back then.
You know what? Like I hated. I didn't want to start all over there. Like I felt like Facebook was when I was getting all my shit off at. There was no Instagram at that point. But I was like, Twitter's dumb. Ain't no photos or nothing like that. Don't make no sense. And then I realized I missed the whole era just trying to be anti. like for real.
Happens.
I can't sit here and say that I vowed to never miss another one because I'm definitely not on TikTok and all that other shit. I'm good. But I'm going to tell you which one was critical that changed the whole landscape, in my opinion, right? So you had LinkedIn that came in 2006, which I wasn't aware of. YouTube makes partners with OG influencers in 2007. Tumblr came out in 2007. Hashtags arrived in 2007, right? I thought the hashtag, well, I guess you guys were using them on Twitter and shit like that, but on Facebook, I didn't have to use hashtags, right? And then you have Foursquare in 2009, YWO in 2009, Instagram came out in 2010 in July. And I want to say that I made my first Instagram, or I made my Instagram that I have right now in November of 2010. I remember when I did it and where I was staying at and everything when I put it together, because I was just at home bored one day in college. And I was like, fuck it, let me get on there. That's back when you had the heavy filters and shit like that. Everybody used to put all them photos up there. But yeah, then Grindr came into the space in 2009. Grindr's on the scene, was the first geosocial networking app for dating geared towards gay and bisexual men, helping them meet other men nearby. So here's the one. Let's jump to the one that I want to say that changed social norms. Snapchat introduced disappearing acts in 2011. That to me changed everything, right? You get to see a photo and instill confidence. I'm not going to get all the way into my bag, but but you can instill confidence in someone and let them know, hey, look, if I was going to do some foul shit, you would know because the screenshot would go off, right? Because on Snapchat, if you screenshotted something, they used to give you an alert that like, hey, yo, Lex took a screenshot of whatever you sent them or whatever.
Scary times.
Right? And now you can hold that accountability to them like, yo, what are you doing? Now we starting to find out where the leaks came from, right? But also it was just dope where like, you know, you could see what people were doing instantaneously. Right, like, and that's where the stories came up. Now stories are popping. Like actual posts aren't like something that you see all the time, unless you advertise some shit like a podcast like us, you know. But then you know you have the 5-minute disappearing acts. So yeah, Snapchat was a wild era. Now Vine, I would say, which I want to say Vine came out in 2013.
Vine is definitely the fucking ADHD one. Oh shit, I only gotta do this shit for what was it, 6 or 8 seconds?
Yeah.
And just run through them.
And just real quick. Vine is the one that put us in the chapter that we're in right now.
Back when I was a frequent World Star hip hop user.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They used to have these Vine compilations. They used to be like 20 minutes long. And I would just sit there like, yo, why am I doing this? It was just fucking Vine after Vine. And it was funny for the most part, but I was like, damn.
That's where like when I tell you like my mom sends me like 10 videos a day. If I'm doing the math, 10 videos a day for 7 days, that's 70 videos that you sent me. We times that by 4 weeks. You're sending me 300 videos a month. Just my mom.
Yeah.
You too, right?
I get all the same ones.
At the end of the year, it's 3,000 videos just from my mom. I look, you better than me. I don't see all of them now. Right? Because everyone sends me something. So I'm like, look, I'm going to let you get 1 or 2 off on me. And then after that, I'm going to search through all of them. I look at least 1 or 2 videos that someone sends me or whatever, because that's way too much time. Right? If the average video is like 1 minute or whatever, that's way too much time that I'm spending on this. Right? So for me, I'm going to choose the one that you either rode under and you gave the stimulus package, like, yo, you need to watch this. But Vine is where it changed the whole game of how we like consume our social media and how we also look at things and laugh at them. The streaming game changed when when Twitch hit the game, right? In 2011, Patreon came around in 2013, and that's when you start entering the streaming game of like live content, like podcasts, shows, and stuff like that. And the crazy part is that we've been talking about evolution, the world, and all this shit. But like in a current day thing, like the video streaming stuff came from artists trying to get paid for the things that they were doing, right? That's where it originated from. You get rid of like handling the middleman, trying to book a venue or whatever. You could be live and direct in someone's home or whatever for a fee because of your likeness, right? And so that's where I would say that the game changed. Any thoughts on that? Do you think that timeline is pretty accurate?
Seems right. I mean, I missed pretty much all of that, except for like, you know, I was in high school and college for MySpace stuff.
The fake news crisis, they said, came around 2016. So that was we're now 7 years removed from. That's so crazy because 2016 does not seem that far away from me. But COVID took a lot of years away from us. So, like, it feels like that, but I do remember that being the thing. Yeah, we are in the fake news. I mean, you got to be careful. I don't even search hashtags of, like, natural disasters or, like, wars and shit like that. I mean, it's kind of weird where you would get your actual information from. CNN, hopefully somewhere that's non-biased, you know, but I try to stay away from shit like that. Speaking of which, Cincinnati is tied right now. I want to say who they playing? Baltimore? I can't see. Oh, no, they playing Houston. Oh, hopefully that ain't the receiver I picked up. All right, man, let's get out of here, bro. We out. I decided to switch it up a little bit, but we definitely hit our time markers today. Any 3 cheers we need to get off? Oh, I definitely need to get off a few 3 cheers, man. Go ahead. In my hand claps. My man ain't never ready. Get your song ready, too. Yeah. I want to give a 3 cheers out to my mom. I want to give a 3 cheers out to my man Wallace, also to my pops, because they helped us put this room together. Wallace is a carpet cleaning dude. He does carpet cleaning. It's called Rams Carpet Cleaning. If you ever want to check him out, bro is amazing. He cleaned these chairs. They were already in decent condition when we got them. I wanted to make sure that they were solid. My mom, provided the rug for us to stop the sound from echoing off and everything, and allowing us to use her space. So we've been doing this now for about 3 or 4 years now. And we've continued to be here. So she wanted us to make it look nice. So I'm glad that she's got a room that she's proud of down here. It kind of completed it. We kind of had a mess in here after 4 years of shit being in here. So yeah, I want to thank them for allowing us and, making this opportunity, happen. And also to, I'm not going to say her name, but the young lady that sold us the chairs gave us a good deal because these is definitely some $500 chairs. So yeah. Go ahead, Lex.
Shit, I know I had some. I'm going to shout out Missy Elliott. She got inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Missy. Go ahead, give her a hand clap, man. We ain't got no hand claps for her, bro.
I mean...
That's a big deal. She the first black woman?
First black woman? I'm not sure, but I know she's the first female rapper.
All right. Shit, we going in 10 years from now, we're going to say the first, white female rapper to get into these things because, hip-hop is expanding. So if she's the first black female rapper in there, great. We go ahead and add that in there, too. All right, man, we out.